Hi everybody, I recently returned from a couple weeks in Thailand. During one of these weeks though, we stayed at the Wat Pa Tam Wua. It's a Buddhist monastery forest retreat located in northwest Thailand. It's about a 3 hour drive from Chiang Mai. So I just wanted to tell you all a little bit about this place. So if you're interested in staying at a Buddhist monastery or visiting a Buddhist monastery, specifically if you want to go to Wat Pa Tam Wua, which I would highly recommend, then this video is for you. And you're scheduled to eat twice a day at this particular retreat. I don't know about other retreats. The first meal is at 7 a.m. and the next meal is at 2 p.m. So there's breakfast and then a very early lunch and no dinner. All meals are vegetarian, so plenty of white rice. Also mangoes lying around. We were there in late July, so there were plenty of mangoes on the trees, and once they fall, they're fair game, so you can eat them. Just peel them and eat them right there. So vegetarian meals twice a day. They also have a canteen. You can buy snacks, instant noodles. As far as the sleeping arrangements, the dorms are very simple. The dorm I stayed in, there was no furniture. It's just a very spacious, large room lined with a lot of windows with screens on them. So a lot of natural sunlight, hardwood floors, everything's wood, but there are no beds. There was one cabinet, actually. There was one cabinet. And they gave us some pads to sleep on the floor and some blankets. Of course, it was July in Thailand, in Northern Thailand, so I didn't really need blankets, but I kind of covered up with one just it gives me comfort like this. So I used that. The women had very simple beds, wooden bed frame, but no cushions, no mattresses or anything like this. I should mention there was an alternate dorm situation. These were these like miniature cabins where people could stay. We were there for 5 days, so I was kind of surprised that they didn't put us in these because they're for like extended stays, and they weren't full. I don't think they were full. But there are these individual cabins also if you're there, I guess, longer than 5 days, between 5 and 10 days. And 10 days is the maximum that you can stay there. I believe unless you're practicing to become a monk, unless you are a monk. My fiance and I went silent mode for 3 days, so we had this pen that said silent, so we actually didn't talk to anybody. I felt a little bad at one point because one of the monks tried to talk to me, and I kind of pointed to it, and he was like, "It's okay." And I just said, "Yeah." And then he kind of looked at me, and I kind of looked at him, and that was it. But I did break this on another time because the head monk kind of waved me over at one point to where he was sitting, and he wanted to have a conversation. So I remember just asking him why he was at that particular location. And he told me that he had traveled to Malaysia and Thailand and that he liked this location the most. And then he told me a story about a snake, and he made a bargain with the snake that if he wouldn't kill the snake would bite him. But then he actually gave us, my fiance and I, this, which was really cool. So he blessed it and then gave this to us, so I thought that was really cool. Another thing I'd recommend is not using your cell phone. I actually had to use my cell phone a few times, unfortunately, because I didn't bring an alarm. So I needed an alarm to wake up at 5:30 or 6 in the morning. So if you are going to one of these meditation retreats and you do totally want to unplug like I did and not have a cell phone, think about a cell phone, use a cell phone, then I would highly recommend. Another thing I noticed was that after these meditation sessions, the monks would hang around and people would talk to them and talk about these ideas that they were talking about or these practices, but the monks were completely available. There was one monk from Germany. He was very tall. He was like 6'5", big guy. And there were a few other Asian monks. And I know 2 of them spoke decent English. So the visitors would talk to them about these different Buddhist philosophies and things after meetings. So it was really amazing that the monks made themselves available like this. So reading the reviews, I was very optimistic about this place. I was a little concerned because there were 1 or 2 reviews that were extremely negative and people talking about the treatment of women. But women were treated just as well as the men. We ate at the same time, and the accommodations seemed the same for everybody. So overall, it was an amazing stay. It was a great opportunity. This is something I remember telling my friends I wanted to do like 20 years ago, was go hang out with Buddhist monks in Thailand, you know? And so this was kind of a dream come true for me. It wasn't very demanding, having had no real training in any of this beforehand. It was very approachable for me. They made it very approachable. Again, they had a guidebook with all the chanting and meditations. They didn't really explain a lot about posture and meditation, but I mean, kind of pick that up as you go, watching other people. And it wasn't extremely rigorous. I mean, yeah, we sleep on the ground and just eat a vegetarian kind of food menu. But I mean, it's pretty Spartan, you know. It's as they tell us many times, it's a Buddhist retreat. It's not like a vacation retreat, you know. So it was an amazing experience. I would definitely go back. Maybe not to this exact same one because I like variety and I would like to try a different type of retreat. But I would definitely like to go back to this place eventually. It was amazing, and I could definitely see myself doing 10 days there if I had the time.